The Japanese Spitz is a small to medium breed of dog of the Spitz type. There are varying standards around the world as to the ideal size of the breed, but they are always larger than their smaller cousins, the Pomeranian. They were developed in Japan in the 1920s and 1930s by breeding a number of other Spitz-type dog breeds together. They are recognized by the vast majority of the major kennel clubs, except the American Kennel Club due to it being of similar appearance to the White Pomeranian, American Eskimo Dog and Samoyed. While they are a relatively new breed, they are becoming widely popular due to their favorable temperament and other features. The Japanese Spitz is a snow-white shaggy miracle with a twinkle in his eyes and a happy smile on his face. The main purpose of the breed is to make friends and keep a company, with which its representatives cope at the highest level. Moderately inquisitive and emotionally reserved in a good way, the Japanese Spitz is an example of an ideal friend and companion with whom it is always easy. Mood swings, eccentric behavior, nervousness, all this is unusual and incomprehensible to a playful Japanese, born with a strategic reserve of positive and excellent mood, which the animal has enough for its entire long life. Highlights. In the homeland of the breed, in Japan, its representatives are called Nihon Supitsu. Japanese Spitz are not the noisiest creatures. Dogs rarely bark, moreover, they easily and painlessly give up this habit altogether if the owner so requires. Representatives of this breed are very dependent on human attention, but do not suffer from excessive importunity. They willingly make contact with people whom they consider to be members of their family, carefully avoiding strangers. Japanese Spitz are extremely neat, and even if they get dirty during walks, it is insignificant. Contributes to the preservation of the cleanliness of the fur coat and the dense outer hair of the animal, which has a dust and water repellent effect. The Japanese Spitz is very homesick in solitude, so he entertains himself with petty pranks, sometimes making the owner want to spank the fluffy mischief properly. These dogs lend themselves well to training, so they are willingly taken to all kinds of circus shows. And abroad, the Japanese have long and successfully performed in agility. The Japanese Spitz do not have hunting and pursuit instincts, so they do not see prey in every cat they meet. Even if a pet lives in a large family, it will be considered its own owner only by one person. And in the future, it is this person who will have to take on the responsibilities of training and teaching the dog. The breed is widespread and very popular in the Scandinavian countries as well as in Finland. History of the Japanese Spitz breed. Active, cheerful, friendly, brave and beautiful, this is what characterizes the Japanese Spitz dog breed most of all. The history of this breed begins in 1920. Its origin is associated with both other Spitz-like breeds and Samoyed likas. The latter statement is often controversial. However, it is impossible to completely refute the close relationship of Spitz with Samoyeds, because northern dogs are relatives of many modern breeds. The Japanese Spitz is a common breed. Its existence is recognized by all large canine organizations. The only exception is the American Kennel Club. Its representatives do not recognize the existence of this breed. They found a lot of external coincidences between the Japanese Spitz and the Eskimo dog. The Japanese Spitz was first bred in Japan between 1920 and 1930. Then in the state at the peak of popularity was the German Spitz, which had just been delivered. It is the German Spitz that is called the ancestor of this breed. After its appearance in Japan, breeders began work on breeding a similar dog. Through long-term work, small, fluffy white dogs were born. These dogs received recognition from the Kennel Federation only in 1964. Japanese Spitz. Breed description. The Japanese Spitz is rightfully called one of the most loyal, friendly dogs. This is a real companion. The Japanese Spitz is a rather small decorative dog that descended from the Samoyeds. Sometimes this breed is called dwarf. However, this is not entirely true. Spitz from Japan are much larger than dwarf breeds. Japanese Spitz do not have a mini look by standard. All dogs are at least 30 centimeters high. In addition, the Japanese Spitz has other characteristic external parameters. Popular colors of Japanese Spitz. One of the most important characteristics is the quality of the coat and its color. The Japanese Spitz has an excellent coat. These are fluffy, cute dogs. It may seem that a thin body is hidden behind the fur of this animal. However, it is not. The luxurious coat of the Spitz hides a muscular strong body. The males are more stocky, the knots are graceful. Therefore, it is easy to distinguish females from boys. Unlike other Spitz species, Japanese has one and only acceptable coat color, white. Because of this color, these fluffy dogs resemble small northern bears. The snow-white wool cover is the hallmark of the Japanese Spitz. Any other colors are unacceptable in this breed. Also signs of marriage are the following signs: non-erect ears, tail, adjacent directly to the back. The purebred Japanese Spitz has a very soft coat. The hair is straight, rises high above the body. These dogs have an undercoat. It is not so much thick as voluminous. Also painted white. Hair throughout the body is rather long. The short coat only covers the ears, muzzle and front of the animal's body. Sometimes on sale you can see Japanese Spitz with a white color, but with different marks on the cover of a different color. This is a serious flaw. These dogs are not purebred. White wool has a stunning attractive appearance. However, it scares some people. They think these dogs will have to be washed constantly. However, it is not. Japanese Spitz practically don't get dirty. They are neat and their coat does not absorb dirt. To regain its well-groomed appearance, such a dog just needs to dust it off after a walk. The nature and habits of the Japanese Spitz. There is still heated debate about the origin of the Japanese Spitz. Some consider them to be relatives of the Samoyeds, while other experts are sure that the breed originated from the German Spitz. One way or another, these dogs have the qualities of both breeds. Spitz are incredibly cheerful, friendly and active. They are able to play for hours with children or their master. This character trait was unambiguously inherited from the German Spitz. Despite their cheerful disposition, Japanese Spitz can be serious. They are reliable companions and excellent guards, which is undoubtedly a Samoyed quality. Interesting fact, Japanese Spitz have a docile nature. Their breed is characterized by silence. However, in case of danger, the Spitz will definitely start barking, which can frighten off the thief or draw the attention of its owners. This dog is a great option for the elderly and children. She is obedient, does not require too much attention. The Japanese Spitz can be taught the basic commands quickly and easily. The most important thing when training is to observe the golden mean. Don't be very strict or very affectionate towards your pet. The dog will obey its owner unquestioningly if he shows his place to the animal from the very beginning. Like other dogs, Japanese Spitz can try to dominate the family. Spitz has a good disposition. He will be able to quickly find a common language with every family member, be it a small child or an elderly person. In addition, such a dog will not be at enmity with the rest of the animals that live in the family. She will be able to get along with hamsters, rabbits and even cats. Interesting facts about Japanese Spitz. The Japanese Spitz is a small, beautiful and very interesting dog breed. If you dream of acquiring such a baby for your family, then you should definitely know about the most entertaining facts about this breed. The purebredness of a Japanese Spitz can be checked, not only by external qualities. You can identify a real Spitz from Japan by the nature of his behavior. Such dogs are almost always silent. They are laconic. The Japanese Spitz is a relatively young breed of dog. However, she very quickly gained popularity around the world. These cute fluffy bears fall in love at first sight. The most popular close relative of the Japanese Spitz is the Pomeranian. These two have a lot in common. However, it is quite easy to distinguish these breeds from each other. Japanese Spitz are only white, while Pomeranians can be painted in 12 different colors. Despite the great similarity with the white northern bears, this nickname refers more to the Pomeranian. Japanese Spitz are called little chanterelles. This is due to their unusual, slightly elongated muzzle. The Japanese Spitz is a long liver among small dogs. On average, its lifespan is 12 years. However, to reach this age, the dog needs proper care. The food of the dog will play a special role. Snow White Spitz are real cleanliness. They always take care of themselves, they do not tolerate dirt on the spirit. Such dogs simply cannot physically live in poor conditions, so the owners must monitor the cleanliness of the house or apartment. Pros and cons of Japanese Spitz. When choosing a pet for yourself, it is important to study the pros and cons of the breeds you like. As for the Japanese Spitz, this dog has a very impressive list of advantages. The most important advantage is learning. This dog is easy to train to the litter box or to the street to teach various commands. She always listens to lessons attentively, learns them quickly. The most important thing is to find the right approach to your pet, not try to intimidate him or overly encourage him. A high level of intelligence is another plus of the breed. Such animals are very smart, cunning. It will always be interesting to study, walk and communicate with them for a person of any age. Also, the advantage of the Snow White Spitz is their cleanliness. This allows you to keep such dogs in any conditions, even in an apartment in a multi-story building. Their fur does not absorb dirt, and the pets themselves will never allow themselves to shit in an apartment or walk in an unsightly state. Fun fact, friendliness is an important plus of the breed. These dogs easily find a common language with children, elderly people, and animals. They will be able to get along in the same territory even with the worst enemies of dogs or cats. There are not many disadvantages of this breed. The main disadvantage of Spitz is nervousness and cowardice when meeting strangers. However, these qualities are not common to all Japanese. much depends on upbringing, genetics. Also, the disadvantage can be called excessive cockiness. These dogs do not love their owners, therefore they constantly revolve around them, demanding attention. To smooth out this line a little, you should spend more time walking the animal. Japanese Spitz care. Japanese Spitz are not picky dogs. Despite their fragile appearance, they are not sissy. Such a pet can live quietly even on the street without harming its own health. Living on the street will not cause physical harm to the animal, but the doggy can suffer from loneliness. If you put a Spitz on the street, then it is important to pay a lot of attention to him every day. Then the animal will not feel lonely, unnecessary. Also, a Japanese Spitz can live in an apartment. This dog does not require too intense exercise. It is enough to walk your pet twice a day. During a walk, you can play with him a little, run. In a safe place, the Spitz can be released from the leash. Then the dog will be able to run, frolic for pleasure. It will not be superfluous to visit special areas for training dogs with your pet. Spitz learns quickly and will enjoy training along with large dogs. Caring for Japanese Spitz is practically the same as caring for other dogs. Much depends on the quality, proper nutrition. The Japanese Spitz can only eat good quality feed. They have a balanced formula, which